Welcome, everyone, to a special futuristic edition of Analysts After Work. I'm Vince, but this is not about me today. I want to take you on a journey to the year 2043. Most of the big names in the BA space have fallen by the wayside. We're not around for various reasons. Either we've retired or we've retired. And a new crop, a new generation of BA thought leaders have taken our place. Now, through the magic of generative AI, I've been able to transport two of those leaders back to the year 2023, where we can learn from them, gather their wisdom, and just bask in the general awesomeness that is Maria Becerra and James Dean. Welcome back in time from 2043. You guys are like the thought leaders in the BA space. I can adjust this back now. You guys are the thought leaders in the BA space. James, I'm going to move you back up here because I want to be at the bottom. Welcome to Analysts After Work 2023. It's October 26th, 2023.
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like nothing changed.
Right?
Thank you for bringing us back to 2023, Vince.
You guys look 20 years younger. At
You
least
Thank
made
20
me look
years younger.
younger. That's what I was
You
going
guys look younger.
to say.
So, okay, these things always make more sense and are funnier in my head before, and I don't know if the execution needed some work. It probably did, but James, Maria, I want to welcome you both. James, I want to welcome you to Analysts After Work, making your debut. Maria, I want to welcome you back to Analysts After Work. And how are you both doing?
I'm doing well. It's been 2 years since our last conversation in Analysts After Work.
Uh-huh.
In fact, 2 years ago, my mom was arrived that day to visit me, and she's coming this weekend to visit me again. So I don't know, maybe
Whoa.
some correlation. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take correlation, not necessarily causation, but I mean,
Exactly.
it's all good. It's all good.
Yes.
So if you want to see your mom, you need to come on my show. That's the
There
moral of
you
the
go.
story.
There you
There we
go.
go. There we go. And James, welcome, making your debut. I was saying to you before we jumped in, you're one of a few folks that I've seen online, primarily on LinkedIn, and just like here's someone that is both of you are definitely represent the future of our profession, and you both have done amazing things, both presidents of your local chapters. Maria, you've gone on to take on a regional role, like just absolutely kicking ass, I will say. For those that don't know you, we'll start with you, James. Tell the folks that are joining in from around the world. Fabricio's here, Mohammed's here from Egypt. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Thanks so much, Vince, for the introduction, and thanks so much for the opportunity to be on the show. It's great to be here. My name's James Dean. If anyone hasn't heard of me before, I've been a business analyst for about 6 years, and I've worked in kind of different industries. I kind of started off in corporate and business registries, and then moved to life sciences, and I'm currently working in the energy industry. I have a few IIBA certificates, and I love talking to other business analysts just about business analysts, the profession, and kind of how we can continuously improve our best practices to deliver better business outcomes. So I'm really excited for the discussion that we're going to go through today, and I'll pass it over to Maria.
Beautiful, Maria.
Thank you, James, and thank you, Vince, for this invitation. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maria Becerra, originally from Colombia, living in Canada since 2019. Well, I've been a business analyst for over 7 years now, even though at the beginning I didn't know I was a business analyst because in Colombia we didn't have that title. There's been some updates nowadays, but still a lot of opportunities for improvement. And hi, Fabricio. uh, as Fabricio mentioned, yes, I'm currently helping lead the Latin American IIBA community. And previous to that, I was the president of the IIBA Hamilton chapter here in Hamilton, Canada. So very happy to be here. Oh, and one more thing to note. Um, as a business analyst, you know that we have so many areas to pursue, to go into. So I found my passion in the intersection of business analysis mixed with technology, and especially AI. And FYI, I started in that area before ChatGPT came and all these buzzwords about AI became so relevant. So if anyone wants to talk more about BAs plus AI, feel free to reach out to me.
Hold on, AI existed before ChatGPT?
Yes, can you imagine?
Oh, oh my God. Uh, I'm hoping. I was actually just having a conversation with Fabricio about this, about AI, and just generally talking about this today. And I'm like I wrote some research on AI a couple months ago. I'm still waiting for it to
Mhm.
be published, and it's like, can we just publish? Because it's got to come out now. It's got to come out now. It's so hot. The hype has died a little bit, I think, but still a fascinating thing. And as Fabricio said, you guys are everywhere. You guys are the future. And I want to tie this in before I know that Steve Jones is going to jump in and tell me that I'm missing my first question. So Steve, I'm aware, but this is my final solo show of the BA Jam. So for those that don't know, the BA Jam was a community organized series of events that's run most of this month. Um, Angela, who's here, had some shows. Judy, Jamie Champagne, Philip, and the BA Cafe. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of people, but and I apologize. This is my final, and I had three, and I structured them in the exact way that we wanted to talk about them, which is past, present, and future. So you, like I said, you guys are the future. I've got a couple questions, but mostly this is just going to be, you know, the drill. It's just sort of free flowing and conversational. Um, but I mean, heady praise from the Brazilian BA that you guys are definitely the future. It's funny. I used to talk with Jared Garay about, you know, going to conferences, and you're like starstruck of like, oh my God, it's Bob Prentice. Oh my God, it's Coop. And now you're just like, oh yeah, it's Coop. Yeah, because you're sort of in the same, and Coop, love you, not to disparage you, but it's just like you're the people you look up to become your friends, and then and
Mhm.
it's a really cool, it's really cool. And I'm sure there are people for whatever reason that like, oh my God, it's Vince. I don't know why you would do that, but you know, so this is the show where I wanted to talk about the future. And before we do that, because again, Steve's gonna kill me. What are we drinking today, folks?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that.
We
I'm
have to.
drinking tea.
Okay.
I have water.
Okay. So I'm still finishing my afternoon coffee. But I do have some Gran Duque brandy, Spanish brandy,
Ooh.
which might just sit here. Maria, you said something earlier, and I left Fabricio's comment up because I wanted it to be a trigger. Of course, there's no business analyst title in Colombia because it would be analista de negocios.
Oh
Like
my
it would
gosh,
not.
look at you.
It
Duolingo's
wouldn't.
helping.
Right? Analistas de
Uh-huh.
negocios.
Mhm.
Because I have to do the lisp. Um, I'm an idiot. This is why these folks are the future and I'm not. So,
In the future,
so,
you're way funnier. Don't worry.
oh, geez, I don't know that the world is ready for that. So, James, I mean, you've been around. You said you've been doing business analysis for a couple of years. What drew you to the profession, and you know, where do you see it going when you are the rock star in 2043?
Yeah, great question. So I'm kind of like most analysts. I kind of fell into the role. I didn't kind of seek out what business analysis was, or I didn't even kind of know what business analysts performed or kind of the role title, I'd never heard of it. All going through college, I actually wanted to be like a database administrator, mainly for Oracle, because I kind of fell in love with databases and SQL. And I was actually doing some things in college at the time that I didn't know was business analysis related until further on in my career. But I started as a system analyst and developer in a company called Enterprise Registry Solutions. And it was after about 6 months that they were looking for a business analyst to join the project. So they were like, oh, James, he's been learning the systems. He's been talking to the different departments in this particular, because I was on site with the clients. So I was learning kind of all about the terminology, the processes, and all that kind of stuff. Again, I didn't really know what business analysis was, but I was like, yeah, sure, let's give it a go. So then
what the hell?
Trained. I was like, sure, why not? I was being trained by a senior business analyst, and he was kind of showing me different templates, like business requirement documentation, and kind of just explaining how we approach, like we have to do elicitation sessions, and we have to actually kind of not gather the requirements, but draw out the requirements or elicit the requirements. And then, because I hate that word, gather. I hate
no, because they're not crops. Like, you don't go into a field and pick them.
Exactly. They're not there just ready to pick up. It's not like you're going to the shop and collecting your groceries. It's like you have to draw them out using different techniques. And again, at the time, I was like a junior, so I was kind of just taking what anyone told me, just, okay, yeah, write that down, fill in this section of a document, and then kind of get like sign off at the time. So I was like, okay. And then it kind of just blossomed from there. It was after probably another 6 months later that I became the lead business analyst on that project. And I was kind of then doing more actually leading the elicitation sessions and getting more into the analysis of things. So not just doing the documentation, because we came to a challenge where we had documented requirements and we tried to get sign off, but I seen that the functional requirements were no one wanted to read them. Like, they were like 40-page documents, and there was about 30 out of them. So like, who
40?
wants to
amateur.
That's okay. But there was no way. So I had to come up with a different approach. So I was trying to use a different technique, and that's what got me into like prototyping and modeling the process. So we had this tool that we could develop where it would basically show the client what the form would look like, and we could go through the flow of the form. And if the user did this, then this is what happened, and kind of just basically getting into the scenarios and talking about how the analysis and different techniques would kind of suit different situations then. And then it's only really like in the last few years where kind of I've been upskilling myself constantly, just to learning different kind of techniques or how to apply my thinking more about not trying to focus just on business analyst as a title, because anyone can perform business analysis. It's more about your mindset and your thinking and how you apply that thinking in different situations that makes you valuable. And I think that's what made me kind of work or be able to work in different industries, because like I'm working in the energy industry at the moment, and it's very complex and very a lot different to corporate and business registries. But I'm able to apply my skills that I've learned, like my soft skills as well, like communication, engagement, facilitation, and even just with collaboration, those simple things that can actually make you valuable as a business analyst. And I think going forwards, to answer the second part of your question, I think that's where we're going to get to. We're going to move away, or I see us moving away from using templates, and more it's more about learning the kind of the key skills that can help you do business analysis on any project or help you work in a particular industry. Because a lot of new business analysts that reach out to me, they're always like, oh, have you got these templates that I can use? And I think they think by using these templates that they're going to be able to apply business analysis in a company. And
wait, that's not true?
It's not so
oh crap.
Oops. Unfortunately, it's not so black and white. So I that's where I see kind of one change coming in, where it's more, we're moving away from not less documentation, but less kind of template focused, and more kind of collaboration and engagement with different stakeholders within the company.
I knew it was a good idea inviting you on. And you just
I think the same. Yeah, I think the same. James already summarized everything for us today.
Show's over, everyone. No, I mean, and you reinforce that idea that I stole from Philip Hendricks, which is BA stands for by accident, and I used that in the last LinkedIn Learning course that I recorded. I wrote it into the scripts. It has yet to be released, so I don't know if it made it into the final cut. But I mean, the guy is bang on. How many people grew up wanting to be a BA?
Mhm.
Not me. Um, but you just figure out how to apply your skills, and yeah, awesome. Maria, anything you want to add to that, or James has covered it?
No, as James was saying, for what I see in 2043,
Yeah.
we are moving away from templates and documentation, and I see how not only AI, but automation, like intelligent automation in general, is helping us to be better assistants and be more productive in our work. So we are using more our skills, as James was saying, collaborating,
Hmm.
recommending solutions, and assessing better the states of our processes rather than spending our time in non-value added activities. So yeah, I agree with you, James.
And I think what's interesting is, I've had this conversation with Fabricio as well. The interest, like you probably saw his video, because he's been killing it with video, where he engages his AI, but he's at the tennis court and he's like trying to solve a problem. And I think that's the piece that a lot of us are missing. It's not that AI supported him and did the job. It was that
Mhm.
AI enabled him to have more leisure time,
Exactly.
have like reduce the amount of time. Now I'm gonna get on a little bit of a soapbox here, because that was the original goal of automation, like the assembly line, like all the way back to the
Mhm.
origins of automation. It
Mm.
wasn't to say, well, now you can be more productive. It was, oh, now you can do your work in 6 hours instead of 8, so you can have those 2 hours back to go and see your family or go to the beach or go whatever. Uh, it didn't work that way because capitalism, but nevertheless, um, see, I got on my political science soapbox. Nevertheless, like that was the objective, and so the fact that I think whether he did, if he didn't do it intentionally, then he fooled me. But I think the goal was, it's showing, I don't have to be at work to actually get things done. I can be productive. I
Mhm.
can do, because AI can handle things. Now, we're still in the infancy, but it's back in 2023, it was still the infancy. Now we're in 2043. It's much more developed, much more evolved. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. In 20 years that, that we've that we've leaped where we are now. I mean, I'm using those dates very. Uh, I mean, it's about a generation, but also I'm alluding to something that might be happening as part of the final jam, which is actually on the agenda for IIBA's BA Day on November 1st, where I get to host a show with the aforementioned Fabricio, actually two shows with Fabricio Laguna, and I'm not going to tell anybody what we're doing, but know that 2023, 2043, and maybe 2003, 2003, yeah, 2003,
Mhm.
have a role to play, past, present, and future.
Can't wait to
Um,
see it. At what time is
That
the?
sounds exciting. I can't wait.
I think we're on at around 8 o'clock in the morning, and then again at
Okay,
about 4:30 in the afternoon. So James, you can probably get the morning one.
I'll get
The
both.
the afternoon one, it's about this time actually. It's not too bad. Um, all right. So we see AI, we see progress. What are you doing in 2043, and how do you get there? Maria, we'll start with you this time.
What am I doing in
What are
24?
you, this is like an interview, right? Like, where do you see yourselves in five
I
years?
don't even know what I'm gonna do tonight. You're asking me what I'm gonna do in
What do you,
20 years.
tell me what you're going to be doing October the 26th,
Uh,
2043.
2043, I'll probably be managing my own company and helping those leaders
Oh,
that don't even know how to implement their AI strategy, because believe it or not, in 2043, people don't even know what is an AI strategy. They don't even know what is a data strategy, because they think that AI is still a magic wand that is going to solve all their problems. So, yes.
Hold on. Without AI and templates, what are we supposed to do? Those are the
Oh my
that's the
gosh.
magic bullet. Like, we need those templates and AI. Put them together, we're good.
Yes,
No?
they don't need us anymore, right?
Is this not true? Like, is this have I been building a lie?
So then we're not going to be here in 2043. We're going to be gone.
We're gonna be on the beach because like I can dial into my thing and say, hey, run this A/B test on this process. Tell me, give me if identify any statistical significances between the two. No pasa nada. Like, okay, sorry,
Completely.
Maria. So you're gonna
No,
be
it's okay. All good.
running your own company, supporting AI strategy, digital strategy, data strategy.
Yes, helping leaders understand their companies better by using technology where it's needed, not where they think it should be.
Okay, so I'm gonna set a reminder to email you this video on October the 26th, 2043, and let's see if it happened. Folks, Maria just threw down the gauntlet. We know where she wants to be in 20 years. It's now up to us to support her in getting there. So everyone that's online, Angela, Mohammed, Fabricio, Steve, who else did I see here?
You said they would be retired, right?
Brienne,
So they can
Marianne.
use their retirement package to
We can,
support this cause.
but we need to support you in the lead up to that, because that's how we make that happen, and that's
Yeah.
also how we stay relevant.
Well,
And
this
people
might
still
sound
want to
also
invite us to
cheesy,
conferences.
but all of you have already supported me because I've taken several of your courses. I've watched several of your videos. So I followed your posts on LinkedIn. So it's little
Oh,
pieces that have
oh,
been helping
turn
me
this.
to be where I am.
Oh, I didn't mean to turn that off. I just wanted to turn it down a bit. Jeez. Um. Aw. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm like,
Don't cry,
I'm turning red.
Vince.
I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. It- I, thank you, and anytime. You know that I'm here. Um, James, you've had some time to think about it.
Yeah, I
Where are
think
you in 2043?
at the moment, I think it's a little bit different for me because in my company, we're actually using AI and machine learning to do certain things. So I'm kind of already adapting to how to use AI and to, I suppose, not let the business misunderstand what AI can be used for and who actually still needs to be involved, like business analysts. And it's not, like we said, like a magic wand that's going to fix all your problems and it's going to do everything. We still need to have that emotional kind of empathetic sides that we can still connect with our stakeholders. We can still understand their different perspectives, conflict resolution. We still have that. That's one of our like kind of best qualities, the engagement, again, the collaboration. And like AI, even in 20 years, it still mightn't be kind of up to scratch. It mightn't be at that stage. And I would see myself having my own kind of BA practice or being a consultant, my own consulting firm with different kind of BAs or my minions, as I call them.
Yeah.
Just being a kind of a mentor and a leader in the BA industry as best as I can, just sharing my experiences constantly and just helping other kind of training, I suppose, the next version or the next generation of business analysts and the next kind of key trends that are coming up or anything that I can do to help them in their career.
This is beautiful to see. Quite honestly, and Steve's not totally wrong. I have been rendered relatively speechless. This is beautiful to see because you're both so young. I'm not going to tell you how old. I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but I can guarantee I'm old enough to be your much older brother. Um, but it's beautiful to see. Not a tear, just wiping me. It's no. I mean, it is a tear. It is a tear. Beautiful to see because you're both so young and you're already giving back. and you're going to continue to give back. And that is, admittedly, I've been selfish most of my career. I haven't given anything back yet. Um, I don't think, but I want you guys to win more now. So let's see if we can make all of that happen by 2033. Never mind this 43 nonsense. Um,
Let's make it
that's
happen by tomorrow.
We
Yeah.
should, right? Why
Yes.
couldn't it? Why couldn't it? No, I mean, I think that's amazing. Like you guys, you both want to do. You're already thinking about how you're going to give back, how you're going to make the world a better place, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Um, so I am quasi speechless. All right, AI aside, because I think that's an easy one. What else do you see in 2043? What's the world like? And what's your world like if you really want to scope it down?
James, you can start
Okay,
now.
James, you can go first.
Throw me under the bus.
And we can limit it to the working world. We don't have to get personal here, but like AI is an easy one. You could say AI, yeah, AI is going to take on a more prevalent role. Yep, duh. What else? What else has changed?
I have one.
Okay.
The awareness of business analysis. So at the moment in
Ah.
different organizations, business analysis can be misinterpreted or misunderstood. For example, one organization might think that as a BA, you're just there kind of cranking out requirements at your desk, or you're just handing over requirements. But with, let's say, 10 years time or in the future, it has to be more that there's more an understanding of business analysis, not just as a role, because I still think that people think there's a business analyst. We just have a business analyst on a project, but it's more awareness of what is business analysis as a mindset, again, as the thinking, and then what are the skills that kind of people could take on within different projects or within different organizations to then help the business deliver better outcomes. I think that will be a key thing that will be changing in the future, because if people are more aware, then they're more likely to opt into business analysis at an early stage as well. Like I'm thinking now for college institutions or academic places of study where they're aware of like what business analysis is, and they kind of know, like, let's say based off the BABOK, the guides, that this is
version 6.
This is the kind of the knowledge areas, then more people might be willing to step into that profession,
Right.
and then to actually use it as a career.
And hopefully before 2043, they've come out with version 4 at least, because three's getting a little long in the tooth. Before we go to you, Maria, I want to build on what James was just saying, and I think this is where I admire folks like Adrian Reed and Tina Lovelock and their BA school day, or the BA school
Yeah.
initiative. BA school day. Thank you. Which coincides with International BA Day on November 1st. I think that initiative is incredible. And again, like, talk about folks that are just giving back to the profession and the community. Like Adrian and Tina are awesome in that regard, and only in that regard. Just kidding. I'm terrible. You guys have probably seen where I'm like, he's fine. Like Fabrizio, he's fine. Like if I actually just thought he was fine, I would say nothing. Tina and Adrian are awesome, and I wish I could do more to support them, and I think they are laying the groundwork for what you just described, James. So I hope for nothing but success from their BA school day. We're gonna we're gonna like cover a lot of ground and get emotional here. Maria, how about you? You've had some time to think after
Oh,
throwing James under the
yeah. I don't
bus.
know. My creativity juices aren't running so much today, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
there will
yeah.
be more business analysts, of course, in technology projects, but also I think in supply chain, because as the world keeps having more population and more population, we have to start thinking how we are going to optimize resources, how we are going to make sure that they are delivered at the right place at the right time, right location, etc. So I started thinking about that, and how food would be one of the key resources and limitants in the future. That's the first thing I thought. um, yeah, so supply chain, I think it's gonna be a huge and important thing in the future. And something that hasn't been talked much is also quantum computing, because as we start getting more and more data and we keep building on
Mm,
these AI models, we are going to need also the infrastructure to support these new and upcoming technologies. So I think there's going to be a lot of work in that space as well.
mhm.
So yeah, those two areas for now.
Fantastic. The supply chain thing, I've thought, it would be interesting to attack that from like a lean or a Six Sigma perspective.
Hmm.
But applying business analysis to it would also be interesting. I've often thought, because again, I'm old at this point. I'm not that old, but I'm much older than my guests. Um, but I've thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we somehow rallied around the global goals, the UN global goals, and just tried to have an impact on one? And so, when we talk about supply chain, we're talking about, food security, we're talking about
Hmm.
just global nourishment and people having, what they need when they need it. It would be interesting to back an initiative that looked at the UN global goals, the 13 global goals, and said, let's pick one, or let's break them up
Hmm.
and say, okay, Maria, you run Latin America, you take this one. James, at this point you're running the UK, you do this one. Um, Vince, just shut up and sit aside. We got this. And just try to solve these problems. I think it would be interesting to at least try to, do
Yeah.
like a hackathon
I,
type, like
I
just
was
try to,
about to say
yeah.
that a hackathon, and maybe you, the older VAs, can serve as mentors for
Hold
those
on.
teams.
Hold on a second, Maria. Let me just lay something down. I can call myself old. You can't call me old.
Oh no, I didn't say old. I said older.
Older. Oh, more experienced.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
But yeah, that's a great idea. Let's start that.
Why not? I mean, I don't have the we need to know some people at IIBA. That's what we need to do. We need to get them more, and maybe at the BCS. Let's unite the factions and get everybody working together.
Yeah, let's bring the
Um,
past, the present, and the future.
the past, the present, and the future.
Yeah.
What about yourselves out in the community, and like, Maria, I've seen you've traveled the world in the last couple of weeks. You're here, you're there, you're speaking at things, you're doing webinars. Um, how has that been for you? Because I think when we first connected 2 years ago, that was like, I'd like to do that someday. So how has that been? And then James, I'm gonna ask you, why aren't you out more talking at conferences and stuff? So I'm gonna throw you under the bus again. Uh, so Maria, how's the traveling been, and how are you enjoying, being seen as a thought leader?
um, I really like it in the sense that some other friends from Latin America who are immigrants here in Canada, um, can now see that if I could do it, if I can do it, they also can do it. That's like my main goal
E-
here. Like that's
Even
what I'm doing.
your humble brag is like about other people. Like, you're too good. You're too
Sorry,
good
but
of a person. I need to boot you from the show. You're
when
too
I
good of
came
a
here,
person.
when I came here in Canada, I didn't know many people, and I don't didn't know many
Oh my
Latin
God.
people. Not
Mm,
even women who were Latin people and were in like leadership positions or
yeah.
speaking in webinars or whatever. So yes, having someone that they see as a way that maybe in the future they can do the same, or in a few months, yeah, it makes me feel good. And yeah, that's what I keep doing. It also, as James was saying, is a way to also keep raising awareness of this field, which, even though I mean, people started it here in Canada, and it's not like super common everywhere you go in Canada.
Mm.
Sometimes people confuse business analysis and business analytics,
Hmm.
and I
Or
mean,
business architecture. I get that one a lot.
I know, so
Yeah.
many things, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a way also to keep helping spread awareness of our beautiful role. So yes, I love it.
See, I just like that they pay me. I'm obviously joking, but
Are
like,
you?
listen, I'm glad they pay me,
Mhm.
but I look at it as, you know you know when they, like, your guidance counselor, like, you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your career, and they ask
Mhm.
you, what would you do for free if you could, like, and
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, if I didn't have to worry about anything else, I would do this. I would go speak at conferences. I would create content. I would do this. So the fact that I get paid for it is even better. But
Mhm.
like, I would do this for free if I could. I'm glad I don't have to, but I would. Um, because this is fun. Like, I like you, Maria. I like I like that look on people's face when you're speaking at an event or whatever, and you say something, and
Mhm.
you know that it's going to hit, and you look out and it's like, oh, or you see people starting to talk because they're connecting dots.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
And
that, and
and the
I'm an
questions
energy
of
vampire on stage. Like,
Mhm.
I need that. Like, okay, I've hit something. Let's go.
And the questions after the presentation. Sometimes people come to you after the
Mm,
presentation, ask you for more information about what you spoke. So it's very interesting to see that you have somehow sparked some curiosity in other people to keep
yeah.
learning more.
Yeah, I love, and James, I'll come to you in a second. I did, and this will be my humble brag. I did my TED talk on Saturday, and it was a smallish audience.
Uh-huh.
But afterwards, there were people that followed up on LinkedIn. Like, I really like your message. I
Mhm.
like what you said. It was very insightful. I'm like, okay, I hit something, because
Nice.
it didn't feel like I did. The audience was very quiet, which is, as a speaker, is terrifying. Because it's like, is anyone out there? But I can see you. I can hear you breathing. Um, but afterwards, it was, I think people were just a little bit shy to speak up and say, hey, that makes sense. Um, James, how about you?
Yeah, I think I'd love to speak at like conferences and kind of get more of my voice out there, we'll say. But I think it's because what's holding me back at the moment is I'm actually a little bit of an introvert and I'm afraid of public speaking. So I haven't really, I suppose, challenged myself to
Mm,
push myself to actually get to that stage. But it's definitely something that I would be interested in doing or pushing myself to do as an opportunity. Because I've really just been kind of sharing different LinkedIn posts or just kind of
mhm.
helping people through LinkedIn message or through the IIBA Ireland chapter. But other than that, I haven't done anything kind of speaking related. I've done another LinkedIn live event with Laura Brandenburg, and
Mm,
that was great. But other than that, like this is my kind of second speaker or guest speaker, which is great because I love talking about business analysis and I
mm,
love connecting with different people. And all through my career, like even before I got into even starting in my first full-time role, I was doing a lot of promotional work and I loved it because I got that engagement. I got the working with different people, teamwork skills, and I was grand, like approaching people on the street. But I think when you're talking in front of like a large audience, it is a completely different kettle of fish, and that's what's kind of like, oh, scaring me a bit. I think that's
Is
what.
is the heart beating a little faster right now? Do we need to
Oh
Do we need to change the subject? Or
yeah,
so, I mean, again, James, I am everyone knows I am a well documented introvert. Introversion is not what's going to stop you. Introversion is just where you get your energy from. So everyone knows, and I see Amy Riddell just popped in. Amy is the person who gave me my first speaking opportunity at Project World, BA World, Toronto, 2015. I recognize. See how old I am?
I'm not
Eight
saying
years
anything.
ago. 8 years. Look how. Listen. Hold on, youngin. Look how far. A lot has happened in 8 years, but it's just about where do you, like I know after I do a thing, I need to go and have a nap.
Hmm.
Like it's just I'm tired. I'm like after this, you'll see me at the end of the show. I'll just go, okay, it's done. Like because it's exhausting. Um, there will be a catalyst for you that will trigger and you'll want to do it if you want to. I'm not saying you have to,
Mhm.
but there will be a come on now. um there will be a moment for you where you'll just say, yeah, I want to do this. And for me it was when my oldest daughter was about to be born. It was this realization of like I can do more. And so that was the trigger of like I need to stop just talking about I'm gonna I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to a conference, I'm gonna write a book, I'm gonna do these things, and like forget the gonna, just do it. And that that was my trigger. Your trigger will be different, but as Steve Jones said, and Steve is heavily involved with the IIBA Hartford chapter, as he reminded me today when he saw Maria, you were going to be on the show, because it was a couple of years ago where we put together the Ha 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 event, Hamilton,
I know.
Hartford, and
Halifax.
Halifax. But that'll be that trigger, and it just you'll go. So I will say this on your behalf, folks in Europe or around the world. Philip, if you're watching this, maybe bring James to BA and Beyond next year. I hear it's a fantastic event in the Netherlands and Brussels. I mean, maybe James gets a spot, um, and we can all hang out there. There we go. Now the pressure's on. You need to put together an abstract for
James,
Philip's
have you
conference.
presented in any of the IIBA chapters? Like that can also be like they are usually looking for a speaker, so
Yeah,
y-
that's all. Yeah, that is
yeah.
also actually another opportunity.
Mhm.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
been said, only if you want, but I mean, I can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
on your LinkedIn post all the passion that you have for the field. So I'm sure you would be a great speaker.
No pressure. But seriously, the introversion thing, like, don't let that be what stops you. We're going to turn this into therapy now. Don't let that be the thing that stops you from doing your thing. I
yeah.
mean, you got to want it though. And maybe you don't, and that's fine too. But like, you know, you're obviously well spoken. You're president of your chapter. I mean, you could just say, folks, next month I'll be speaking at the Ireland chapter. And what are they going to do? Who's going to stop you? You're the president. No,
Yeah, it's
That's how it
definitely, yeah.
works,
you
right?
could do whatever you want. I'm told. I've come. No, I'm going to put on my political science hat. I'm told that presidents can just do whatever they want. They
There's no
can.
rules, no
There's
rule
no
book.
rules. They can rewrite the rules. They can do whatever they want, and there's no repercussions, legal or otherwise. Um. Whoops. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Another idea is just now that I saw a comment there in
Please.
practicing the company. This year I wanted to do an um,
This one here. Yeah.
yes, to provide that speaker session in AI, right? But I didn't want to do it big yet. So I started having like a lunch and learn session with my colleagues at work. So, yes, as LinkedIn user said, maybe you can also practice in your company with your colleagues where you feel in a more safe environment.
That's actually a great idea. It is something that my company kind of does at the moment. It's called a solar session. But I guess the fear I have there is because I'm the first official BA that they've hired in the company. It's kind of more like a sales pitch to show the value of business analysis. And I want to take it a step further to say, but to kind of back it up with data in terms of what I've been working on since they've hired me, to show them that this is kind of why you need business analysis and this is kind of how it works. So I did do a session before when I first joined. I think it was only 3 months in the company, and everyone loved it. Like, people had reached out and they're like, hey, this is really good, and like, can you show me this technique, or can you talk a bit more of this? So I could take it further and actually go into another kind of area of business analysis, because I think that would be great.
Yeah, there you go.
I think challenge laid down.
Yeah.
And I think I heard challenge accepted. So, all right. So you're on the agenda for BA and beyond. I don't have the authority to get you on any other agenda. In fact, I don't have the authority to get you on that agenda. But I'm gonna suggest to Philip Hendricks that he give you a look. Again, he doesn't need me, but there we go. All right, we've got about 10-ish minutes left. What are your plans between now and how are you going to get to where you want to be in 2043? What do you see in the immediate future for business analysis, and how are you in addition to the amazing things you're already doing, how are you driving the profession forward? And how can the community, I'm going to keep, if you guys are quiet, I'm just going to keep layering on questions. How can the people in the community support you in making that happen? Now I'm going to shut up.
I think through the Ireland chapter, what we're trying to do next year or for the next kind of while is to create more awareness of business analysis, but also to support aspiring or junior or even experienced business analysis in just making them kind of aware, well, for aspiring, understanding what business analysis is, kind of going back to the really basics, using a lot of BABAC because we have to with the IIBA, but then taking a step further in terms of kind of best practices of how you would apply business analysis within a company. Because even though you know the techniques or the kind of the terminology or the different kind of stakeholders, it doesn't mean that you might be able to actually perform business analysis, because it's completely different in an actual organization, and it depends on the organization as well, because you need to clarify your role to make sure, okay, what is it actually, what is expected of me, and what are my deliverables, if there is going to be certain templates that they might have to use. But I think by just producing more kind of materials and resources that new and even experienced business analysts can use will shape the future, and especially with like AI and kind of machine learning and this more kind of collaborative approach, moving away from this horrible idea of handing over requirements, and hopefully then changing people's mindset to say, hey, this is like the best practices that you should be using, rather than kind of what you're doing now, and approaching different, maybe going into organizations and actually doing like presentations, and to other kind of institutions like college institutions or academic places of study, where it can just be more kind of explaining how business analysis should operate. And then if there's no kind of business analyst function within an organization, maybe there's an opportunity there to grow it or to train other people so that the future of business analysis is bright.
So what would you say then if they were like, we've existed for 20 years, for 40 years, 50 years, we've never had BAs, we're fine, we don't need you? How would you answer that?
I think it's a difficult conversation, because you're always going to have those challenging stakeholders, as we call them. And people
that is what we call them.
And the resistance to change. But I think if you can come in with a few case studies, because obviously you're not working as a business analyst in that company. If you are, you might be able to bring data to back up your facts and say, for example, when I started in my company, I was able to prove how I improved engagement with our stakeholders overall in the project, because what was happening a lot of the time was they were just kind of coming up with a solution. The requirements were being written and then handed over to developers, and then it was just delivered. And then the people will come back who were using the system, the end users, and they were like, this isn't like what we want, or it doesn't actually solve the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you have to have that engagement. So I think if we can show some way how business analysis is actually valuable to an organization and to the different processes and the different kind of tasks that we would do, then I think they'd be more open to having that conversation.
Yeah, you can also tell them, see that broken process? There wasn't a BA involved there. That's why you need us. Or you can do the opposite. See that amazing project? I'm sure a BA was there. That's why you need us.
So you guys are much more astute than I am. I have, and you can go. I think you can go back and check this in the IIBA webinar archives. But I did a member webinar on enterprise analysis, strategic business analysis, and I think I ended with, we need to step up because we have to stop letting stupid people make decisions. And maybe not the best thing to say, of like, we can't have stupid people making decisions. We need to make those decisions. I was going for effect, and I don't know that it had the desired effect, but I think I would answer the way that I would answer my second question to you. What would you do if they said, oh, I've had 50 years, and like, we need to stop letting stupid people run companies. We need smart people, smart and capable people running companies. All right, so we know
sure they will love you, Vince.
This is why nobody will hire me. What's the problem here? You're all stupid.
That's what we say in our head, but we can't actually say it out loud.
I know.
More diplomatically.
I've mellowed significantly. I think I found myself in a very toxic place, and I was just like, I was fed up. So I was like, yeah, everyone's stupid. Everyone's stupid except me, and that wasn't the right thing. Now I'm much more mellow, and I actually don't think that anymore, because I get to work with really, really smart, capable people that know their thing and are thought leaders in their own spaces, and I get to be in my space, and that's fantastic.
But in some organizations, like what you did say is correct. Like,
I know
people at the top are making those decisions, and when it comes to, let's say, us, it's like, why? And like, if they don't have, like, I see pre-project analysis or strategy analysis so important for any project, because if you don't have those key kind of questions, why we're doing this, what problem we're trying to solve, what value it's going to deliver, who's my stakeholders, what are the business objectives, then how can you even start to define scope? How can you even start to know who you need to talk to? How can you do your impact analysis? Like, if you don't know what we have today, how can you go to the future? It's like, you have to, that's so important, that process alone. And I think a lot of companies see it that it takes too much time, and they're like, oh, we'll just dive straight into like solution mode and we'll start getting into development. But that's not the right approach, because you're going to have so much rework. You're going to have
We'll do it twice, no problem.
Yeah, that's it.
No pasa nada.
We can't find time to do the pre-project analysis, but we can find time to fix it afterwards.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Hakuna. So I will throw in no pasa nada wherever I can, because to me that is the Spanish Hakuna Matata. It's like, yep, no problem. There's no worries. We'll get it done. No pasa nada. Plus, I can show, as Maria alluded to earlier, my burgeoning Duolingo skills, where I'm now able to go to Spain and have conversations. Simple.
But
can I have that donut? Like those things. Can I have quiero más? Like those things. But anyways, Maria,
Vince,
how are you going to get to where you want to go? And how can the community support you?
Yeah, I was thinking actually of that specific question, and something that I would really like for all of you to keep doing, because you are already doing it, is to keep promoting awareness of the field, the role, but showing it as many of you already do as a mindset rather than a title. Because we can have like AI business analysts, we can have, I don't know, supply chain analysts, but at the end is a
Web3,
mindset, right?
blockchain,
Yes,
like
AR,
they're
VR.
AR, VR, yep, machine
I
learn,
know.
ML,
So,
DevOps, they
mm,
all need BAs.
exactly. So if people understand that regardless of the field of the company, industry, etc., we need BAs, it's gonna keep making our life easier because people will realize the need of BAs in their companies. And then when
Hmm.
I have my own consulting company, when James has his own consulting company,
You
they
can
will say,
hire
"Oh
me.
yes, we need you."
Yeah. It,
You will be retired by then, Vince, but sure, why not?
I mean,
Pro bono
with
work.
inflation, I might not be able to retire, but we'll talk. It's fun. Like I have I get these a lot, and I have these conversations with folks where, it's like, oh, well, I'll particularly talk about like the strategy piece. Who's looking
Mhm.
at the bigger picture? And like, oh, our PM, our project managers do that. Do they? Do they really? Like, because and it's again, no, I don't mean any disrespect to PMs, but they have their objectives, right?
Mhm.
They need to deliver on time, with quality, in scope, in budget, like managing risk. They have their parameters. But when push comes to shove, if I identify, a missing requirement, a missing stakeholder, and it's going to make the project more valuable, but it means extending the timeline 3 months. Who wins that argument? And so, are they making those decisions as, that's strategic, or are they just saying, no, it's going to extend my timelines, I'm out? So, um, I think we definitely need more voices. We need louder voices. We need loud mouths. So James, if you're a loudmouth, we need you. Maria, I think you're more of a strategic talker, and like, but I'm a loudmouth, and we need more loudmouths. We need both of we need all of us. But
I can be loud when I need to be. Like I
there we
like
go.
diplomatically, again, challenging things when I see that it's not the right approach or not the right decision. And because I'll give you another example.
Please.
I was thrown a task before. It was a new project, and it was like, oh, we need to start development straight away. And I was like, okay. I had all these questions, like all of those practically pre-project analysis questions that should have been answered, and there was nothing. No
Hmm.
one could give me an actual answer. So I was like, okay, what is the solution? And when they told me the solution, I was like, have you actually checked with the end users? Because I knew straight away in my head that they would not accept that solution. And they're like, no, 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 we're just going to develop it. And we're hoping to give them in like the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why would you not engage? So I basically pushed back and I said, I'm not going to do my piece of work until you go engage with those stakeholders, because I was like, there's no point developing the solution if it's not going to be any
Mhm.
value to them. And I was like, if the business analyst is on the project, we need to make sure that the solution is actually valuable. So I was like, I'm not having that. So they went and talked to the actual stakeholders, and they turned around, they said, no, why would we want this solution? That would mean that we're using two different systems to do the one task. It's actually going to add to our process, like day to day. And I was like, exactly. I was like, I knew exactly, but I needed it to come from them.
Boom.
I
That's
said
why
it.
you need VAs.
That's why you need BAs. So
So
the project ended up getting scrapped and started again. And the solution that they said that would solve the problem wasn't actually the optimal solution. So I had to go back up the chain and do the solution options and analysis and see what alternatives would be, so that we actually were going to solve the problem. We were also not going to impact any current processes that would actually not cause any value then.
so James, I'm going to give you a little tip that I picked up that hopefully serves you well. The story that you just told, write that down.
Okay.
Anytime something stupid happens at work, write it down, because each and every one of those is a keynote, is an article, is a workshop. I haven't thought of anything new because I'm still cycling through all the stupid things that I had to deal with in my career. Anytime I tell a story and people look at me like, really? I'm like, no, this actually, like, what I'm telling you actually happened. Write it down. That's how you create content. That's it. Okay.
Secret is out.
The secret's out. Uh, Maria, you get the final word.
Thank you for
Let's
inviting me, Vince, and
no,
let's
that's not
keep
the final word.
spreading the VA.
Leave the people with some wisdom, some words,
Yeah, I was going
and
to
yeah.
finalize by saying to keep spreading the word and raise awareness of VAs, but since we touched a little bit about AI and it's a topic very close to my heart, I just want to remind all of you that AI cannot think, hear, see. AI is just a field where you can predict, well, not you, but an algorithm or a model can predict something. So whenever you see that AI can hear, listen, or giving some human attributions, that's not what's happening today. So that's my words of wisdom. And yeah, just let's keep spreading the
So that
awareness
we
of our field.
don't have a situation like the movie Her, where that
Yes.
guy falls in love with his phone and
Hmm.
then she leaves him somehow. Sorry, spoiler alert. Um, remind me later. Actually, Maria, I wrote a piece of research called "Getting Started with AI
Uh-huh.
in Requirements Management." It hasn't been
Oh,
published yet,
nice.
but let me send me an email and
Mhm.
I'll flip you a copy. And
Perfect.
you know what? For anybody else, I'll flip you a pre-production copy of the research before it's published. So I'm eager to hear what you say or what you think.
Sounds good.
James, I said Maria got the final word, but what wisdom do you want to leave the audience and the folks that are watching now and watching in the future?
I think adding to Maria's point on AI, it's not going to replace business analysis and definitely not going to replace people.
Hmm.
And because although it is going to enhance business analysis, improve processes, optimize them, make kind of things better in an organization, you're going to still need those people that have that engagement, have that collaboration, and can think problem solving, have that mindset, again applying different techniques in different kind of situations. And machines are never really gonna kind of replace what we have as business analysts, the soft skills that we bring to the table. And the second part I would say would be a key piece of advice that I've learned throughout my career, and I didn't do it at the very start, but question everything. Like, question absolutely everything, because if you don't ask a question and you find out later on that if you had asked that, it's like a misrequirement or something like that. Like, always ask why. If you can't understand why, then you're not going to be able to solve the problem. And that's what I would say.
There we go. Well, in keeping with your theme of questioning everything, I'm gonna question what you just said there, and I'm gonna push back a little bit to say, in the research, I disagree with you. I think that AI is gonna have an impact on business analysis, not on the profession itself. But my main hypothesis is AI will not replace business analysts,
Hmm.
but a business analyst that knows how to leverage AI will
Yeah.
replace a BA that doesn't.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there we go. That's my words of wisdom. We are over time, but I feel like we could go for another hour or two, but I'm not going to do that because it's late for James, and that's not fair. Folks, make sure you keep up with the BA Jam. It is coming to an end. There's only a couple shows left. I think there's one tomorrow and a couple next week. You can check it out on LinkedIn. There is a group, the BA Jam, and then be sure to join Fabricio and myself on Wednesday, November the 1st,
November 1st.
for BA Day. We are part of the official agenda, so we've got a show at I'm told 8:10 in the morning, and another one at about 4:30 in the afternoon, both times Eastern. So please adjust for your time zone. We are in typical Vince and Fabricio fashion. We're gonna have some fun. So it's not gonna be boring. It's not gonna be as fun as this. No, it might be equally as fun as this, but be sure to check it out, the BA Jam and all the festivities that are going on around the globe for 24 hours of BA Day on November the 1st. So be sure to check it out. With that, Maria, James, I want to thank you both for joining me today. You guys are both welcome back anytime. And thank you for everyone that joined in. This has been Analysts After Work. I'm going to play us out. We will catch you in a couple of weeks when we are back post BA Day.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.